This is not about Ukraine. This is a war with Russia that these people have wanted since 2000, because in the 90s, Yeltsin was, the guy was never sober, but regardless, he was kind of a willing U.S. puppet. And I was in touch with people. We were, going to Moscow. We're going to set up a stock exchange and a modern central bank, and do IPOs of all your companies, and you'll be just like us. That was the mantra. And by the way, keep selling us the oil. Well, what happened was they did the IPOs, and the oligarchs, aspiring oligarchs, set up little card tables in the lobbies of apartment buildings. And people would come back from work, and everybody got like 10 shares of whatever, Gazprom or Rosneft or whatever. And these guys would sit there and say, hey, I'll buy your shares for whatever, a couple of pennies. Yeah, take it, because what am I going to do with this stock? And they accumulated these shares, but there were different groups. And then it was like Chicago in the 20s. There were just machine guns and gang wars all over Moscow. And Putin came in and restored order. But that upset the apple cart of the people who wanted to subdue and exploit Russia. Fiona Hill, George Kent, and we know who they are. I mean, I do anyway. Most people do. Well, people in Washington, Victoria Nuland, some of the other people I mentioned. So they just hate Putin, period. And then throw in the fact that Hillary Clinton alleged that he caused her to lose the election in 2016, which is not true. There's no evidence of that, but that's her little delusion. And then that's been a very useful meme for the Democrats ever since. Russia, Russia, Russia. They want to get rid of the guy. They're coming dangerously close to World War III. This is the closest we've come to a nuclear exchange since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kennedy maybe stumbled into it a little bit, but he had the good sense, as did Khrushchev, to back off. I've studied nuclear warfighting for decades, and every expert, Herman Kahn, Henry Kissinger, Albert Wolstetter, they all said the same thing. Don't go there. Nobody wakes up and says, hey, nice day for a nuclear war. I think I'll launch a few. That's not how it happens. It happens through escalation, tit for tat escalation, until you get to a point where somebody's backed into a corner, and it is existential because you made it that way. And they're thinking, well, maybe I have to use some tactical nuclear weapons to avoid the collapse of my state. And that's where you get into a game theoretic situation. It's like Rand Corporation stuff in the 1950s. You might be the guy who doesn't want the nuclear war, but if you think the other guy's going to shoot, you shoot first. The U.S. would actually start the war because you don't want to be second strike. You want to be, if Russia shoots first, we're second strike. You always want to be first strike. So, but is Biden John Kennedy? I don't think so. He's on a reckless path. The most dangerous situation in terms of potential nuclear war since 1962, with a bunch of people who say, bring it on.
Yeah, I always get reminded of that documentary film, The Fog of War, with Robert McNamara, who warns this at the end of this fascinating documentary of a guy, who worked as Secretary of War, under Kennedy and I guess Johnson as well. And, he was front lines for that Cuban Missile Crisis. Later had a conversation with Castro who said, yeah, I would have pushed the button. And he was shocked that someone would have actually done that, a human on Earth, knowing the consequences. And he said, right, this is the greatest existential threat in this world, and no one pays attention to it. And this situation in Ukraine is the closest, like you said, we've been to that coming to a head. It's dangerous stuff.
Right, with a crowd that has either not studied or not internalized the lessons of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Right, and so many random factors the escalation could happen quickly. And again, you might be the white knight saying, I would never do that. But because of the game theory, you might actually have to make a move if you get back into this corner, which again could happen really quickly. If a couple bad events happen, it could happen over a weekend, perhaps.
That's correct. So all the more reason to de-escalate.
Right. But
they're not. They keep doubling down. So Russia's winning the war. They're taking their time about it. Some initial blunders, that always happens, but they've corrected that. They've changed their generals. They're not fighting over every inch of land because they don't care. They care about winning, not running up the score, so to speak. They've done a lot to avoid civilian casualties. Yes, some civilians have been killed. That's tragic, and that's a cost of war, but far fewer than would be the case if they were just carpet bombings, the things the United States has done. And, I say I've studied nuclear war fighting. People go, what do you study? There's never been a nuclear war. I said, yes, there is. The U.S. conducted a nuclear war between August 6th and August 9th, 1945. Dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities. So we did have a nuclear war. And, and a lot of testing, a lot of theory. In the meantime, the idea of, I say, I've been to Los Alamos where they created this stuff. But again, the smart people say just don't go there.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline. I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?